Hey there traders, welcome back for episode number 137 from the StockBandit.tv. This is your market view video, so hope you've had a great holiday weekend, enjoyed the July 4th festivities and had a safe time and got to spend time with the people that you love the most and that you're ready for this holiday shortened trading week, because come Tuesday morning when that opening bell rings, it's going to be the sound of opportunity, and you and I have got to be ready or someone else is going to get in our pocketbook, and we don't want that. So let's take a look at the major indices here as we head into a brand new week of trading. We know this is going to influence how individual stocks move. We're going to start off taking a look at the NASDAQ, and obviously across the board we've seen just relentless selling for 2 solid weeks now. We started with the Monday reversal from 2 weeks ago, and we've seen just consistent and persistent selling and downside since then. We've seen 9 days in the red out of 10, and for the NASDAQ there was one minor advance right in here, and that was a 6-point advance. So by the way, if you're not watching this in full screen mode, go ahead and click that button on the player. You'll see this much more clearly. But we had a minor 6-point bounce there kind of midway through this decline, and then of course it was down elevator, and last week we saw nothing but red, down 5 days across the board. So for the NASDAQ, we're now down through this 2100 level, which was the February low. That, of course, was the level where this rising trend line here marked the advance from the February low all the way through to the April peak. So that 2100 level proved to be a very important zone from there. We're now through it just slightly, finishing at 2091 last week. More interestingly, as I zoom in here on the chart, Thursday's low was really respected in each of the indices across the board on Friday. We did post declines in each of the major market averages on Friday, but we stayed above Thursday's lows. So heading into the week ahead, really to keep a very close eye on Thursday's highs and Thursday's low. So by the way, for the NASDAQ, Thursday's high 2117, Thursday's low 2061. At this point, we are very oversold. We've seen kind of a measured move type of a decline, which really corresponds with this bounce after the May initial sharp sell-off. We of course rebounded back up and were unable to reclaim this broken support level, and that provided a pretty good opportunity for some heavy selling to kick in there. We've now kind of repeated that right here with another decline of similar size and duration. And so as traders, you and I need to take notice of things like this, where we see declines that are similar to prior declines. How did that get treated? Well, this last one, we saw a pretty decent little relief rally before more selling kicked in. At this point, we're still waiting for a relief rally to start. It has yet to begin, but it could certainly start at any moment. And by the way, just on top of that note, I want to build on it. Turnarounds in the market, they really take time, especially when you see as harsh of a turnaround as we've seen off of this April peak. So the relentless selling that we've seen lately is not the only selling that we've seen, but we saw a harsh sell-off there, another one there. We've seen minor bounces get sold, and so plenty of selling here in the last couple of months that is fresh on the minds of traders. And that means that there's going to have to be a gradual growth in confidence for traders before this market is really embraced again. We might mark a low pretty soon, we might not. But what I'm trying to say is, if we do mark a low pretty soon, that doesn't mean that we're going to just turn and rally straight back up. That's just not how psychology in the market works. So we've got to be aware of that and continue to just trade actively and be very careful on both sides of this market. So moving on to the S&P 500. This index broke the November low of last year as well as the October low of last year last week with its decline. And here again, we're down 9 out of 10 days. We're now down through that important short-term support down here at the 1040 area, and then of course we took out the 1029 level, which was back here last November. So we're very oversold here as well. Keep a close eye on Thursday's low and Thursday's high in the S&P. If we can turn and rally from there, that might spark a decent bounce, but it's certainly just something to be treated as a bounce for now. For the Russell, we're now down through the 607 support level. Beyond that, we've got the February low down here at 580. That's the next level to be watching on the downside. But if we turn and reclaim this 607, maybe a bounce begins, and it's something that we can use as a tradable bounce. For the Dow, we're down through the support levels here set in early June, 97.57. That was broken last week. We're now below that. We've seen 7 straight declines here for the Dow. If we can reclaim that 97.57 area, and then this May 6 flash crash low, 98.69 is where that was. If we can reclaim those levels, maybe we see a decent bounce. But at this point, sellers are still out in force. Finally, taking a look at the VIX, this is the volatility index. This is a sentiment index, and generally it measures fear. And we've seen a pretty big rally here in the VIX last week, coming right back up to challenge this 3750 area where the prior high was made earlier in June. So we did sell off on Thursday and Friday in the VIX, which is very interesting to note given the fact that the market really has rallied very little from Thursday's lows. Thursday's lows in the market would have corresponded with Thursday's highs in the VIX. We have seen a big contraction in the VIX, not a very big contraction, not a very big rebound in stocks, I should say. So at the moment, we're still range bound here, respecting this 30 area, closing just above that on Friday, still below 3750. So looking for more range bound action here until one of those levels gets broken. Thanks again for joining me for this episode. I will be back soon with more videos, but in the meantime, trade like a bandit.